We've absolutely converged again here in our sanctuary on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. The Polity happening live. Good morning to you and welcome. My name is Chisom Chinidu. Of course, I am not alone in the studio. I have our in-house analyst, Ogada Gidi, Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki here with me. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Chisom Chinidu. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Indana and Onitsha. Good morning, everyone listening to us from anywhere. Good morning, God Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, for making us to be here in our sanctuary once again to proclaim the truth. And most times, people may not like the truth. That's one thing about truth. Whenever you proclaim it, people may not like it, but it is only the truth that will make you free. And also set you free as well. It's important we know that.
Tony, I'd like to start a conversation first, probably from home, before we go to see what the front pages of the papers say. Or better still, we do the roundup from the front pages, then we proceed to coming back to some of the things that happened yesterday, starting with that video that Very Dark Man put out concerning his coming to Anambra State for the funeral of fish magnate. He said something about if he gets killed here, how he will be buried if he gets killed in Anambra State. And a couple of persons have come out to caution him, also including Ohanes and Dibo, telling him that the insecurity situation in Anambra State is not as he simplified it to be. And of course, a lot of videos have come out concerning insecurity in the southeast. I also saw the one made by Okulora, the one, the activist and the philanthropist who was kidnapped in Umwaka is in Imo State, right? He said the people who kidnapped him were all speaking Imo dialect of Igbo, not just Igbo, but the Imo dialect. And then it all boils down to two things about the insecurity system in the southeast. For starters, is it being blown out of proportion? And secondly, what is this thing about the people who perpetuate all of these evil being from home? The Igbos would say, no, every time we have conversations about insecurity, there is this attempt to take our people out of the mix. But there is totally no way that you can have entirely strangers come to your home and wreak havoc. If they are not wreaking it with an informant from inside, then these supposed, would I call them insurgents, these criminals, have a link inside, maybe from inside. What do you think?
Let's begin with the very fourth issue you raised about a very dark man who is the social media activist. He's a social media activist and also YouTuber. And then he has made statements about his coming to Anambra State, and then the procession he intends to organize. And then he lamented the killing of a young man, which we have lambasted. The killers here, Ife Sinachi Onyekere, who was well known as fish magnate. So, according to him, the young man had intended to gift him smoked fish as thanks for his activism, but we know that the very young man was abducted and murdered sometime around late July. So he has announced plans for a candlelight procession in Anambra State to honor the young man and raise awareness about rising insecurity in Southeast. But I want to say something: the government will always cooperate with him. There is nothing wrong in raising awareness about killings going on. And remember what happened to Ife Sinachi Onyekere, popularly known as the fish magnet, was a clear case of assassination. People are trying to link that assassination to his mother being the woman leader of All Progressives Grand Alliance, and at the same time some are linking it to his intention or his actions on crashing down the prices of fish. So whichever way you look at it, it was a well orchestrated assassination. And this young man, very dark man, whom had said that the young man had wanted to give him smoked fish and then he couldn't realize that earlier on, but now he has realized that he wants to come up with candle procession. We must also acknowledge that it was his coming sometime here in Anambra State that also made the authorities to speed up everything about reopening the Obogu markets. But on this candle light procession, nobody is going to kill him. Anambra is not like that. Remember, those that killed the young man, they are enemies of the state. There is no way you can misplace this fact. They are enemies of the state, and the state is actually after them, going after them to ensure that justice is served. And the issue of if he kills, how he would want to be buried, I think he's becoming sensational. Nobody has threatened him. Nobody has said he would not come. Nobody has said he will not go on with the candlelight procession. Nobody has said anything. So it will be in his widest imagination to start saying that if he gets killed in Anambra State, he would like to be buried this way. I think he's trying to make up the headlines. The good thing is that you want to hold a candle procession. Why not? Go on and hold it. If that becomes awareness. But I also want him to also hold a candlelight procession in Benue State. Because if you ask me, they need it more. I also want him to go on and hold candlelight procession in Plateau State. Plateau people also need it more. And he can also go on and hold candlelight procession in Imo State. We were told yesterday that 2 policemen accompanying the majority leader of Ebonyi State House of Assembly were killed somewhere around Okigwe, along the Enugu Aba Expressway. He got killed. The 2 policemen were killed. So we understand the rising insecurity in the country. But it's also important to put things in perspective. and we must also applaud his activism. But our own here is, whenever you intend or want to do anything which probably you denied the intention, where the intention is well known, we have to point it out. We have to point it out. That's what we do here. Remember, bandwagon is a dangerous thing. Bandwagon is one thing that people should also be wary about. Wherever everybody stand, that is where you stand. Wherever everybody goes, that is where you go. So we can't join such bandwagon effect or bandwagon movement. We've known that before now. So that is why if you're not always on that movement, people will pick holes with you. And remember, the fact that everyone is doing, or the fact that everyone is doing something doesn't make it right. Is important. So even the Bible, somewhere, I think Exodus 23 verse 2 mentioned that do not follow the majority where they go wrong. Now the question is, who is going wrong and who is going right? So I'm aware that even Mark Twain, whenever, I think there was a quote he made, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. You must think. You don't do things because others are doing it. So the important thing is the candlelight procession he has planned, he has intended, is welcome here. Remember when there was someone that died, Ifeanyi died in UK, there was candlelight procession in his honor in Oka. He didn't die in Nigeria, he died in UK. I'm aware that his followers put up a candlelight procession. I think that was the last candlelight procession they put up in his honor to remember his legacies. And this young man, Ifeanyi Onyekere, has got legacies, and one has to do with hard work. Is one of his legacies. Hard work. It pays. Young minds being enterprising, being determined, being focused, showing that there are things we neglect we can do. There are people that will feel so big to get into fish business. After all, it smells. They will leave that business for women to even do, that they will say that it is not a business for man. But this young man, not just being a fish farmer, he became a fish processor. He had the whole value chains, from the little fish to the fish, the young fish coming up, and to the point of even using them for either the roasted fish, for different things. And he was well-being these things to different parts of the country, and that made him big. And then he branded it. In fact, he became a celebrity fish farmer. We've seen people from being a bar attendant. We have celebrity bar attendants, and they made money. I think there is this Cubano chief priest. He started as being a bar attendant. He started doing it in a big way, and he turned to be a celebrity. Today he's rich. So there are things we can do. I'm talking about the legacy of this young man. Pick that neglected job, but repackage it in a way you may turn to be celebrity in doing that, even when people think they can't do that kind of business. There are people that can become celebrity bus driver. It depends on the way you are. See, that's the legacy of the man. So if you hold candlelight procession in honor of his legacies, and also to create awareness of rising assassination and killings, there's nothing bad about it. And from what I've heard from the government, they are going to support him. They are going to also join him. So there is, I think the most important thing, let it not be politicized. That is where I'm against. You don't politicize insecurity. The moment I suspect, or the moment it becomes obvious, we can't just say whether it has happened or not, but the moment the procession becomes obvious that it is pure, it's all about politics or it's being politicized, I will speak against it. I will not speak against it. I'm endorsing it here now. But once it is politicized for obvious reasons, I will come back here and kick against it, because the intention is now shifted to something else. So it's important we earmark I mark some of these nuances so that nobody will say that maybe I did not say it earlier on. So let's keep our fingers crossed. If Anyuba's case, the candlelight procession was not politicized. He was honored. So that of Ife Sinachi Onyekere, the fish magnet, we would also want if I were in Oka, I will also join the procession. If I were in Oka, I will join the procession. But the most important thing, let us not politicize it. But let a very dark man also know that once he's done with that of Anambra State, he may consider doing something like that in Benue and Plateau State, and they will welcome it. Honestly, all he needs to do is to liaise with the state government and see how he can get it done.
Quite an interesting take. Let's go to the front of the pages.
I think you said something about I think there's another issue raised.
Yes, what Okulora said about the persons who abducted him. Eventually released a video, which some persons have come out to say, well, you are taking so much risk by divulging so much information. But what Okulora said is not, like I said, the first time anyone would say that criminals are more often than not from inside. All right. Yes, we've had the herder crisis. We've had herder kidnappers and all of that. But Okulora said his kidnappers were from West, where he was kidnapped in Imo State, and they spoke Imo dialect. I also recall some time ago the Anambra State governor was put under fire for saying something about the criminals arrested in his regime being from within the state.
When you say Okulora, I don't know if you can play the video or the voice so that we can hear it. So I will say whatever based on what we have there, because when you are making accusation and you say he said, it's also important. Remember yesterday we were here replaying a particular video just to stretch something and also make something out of it.
I'm trying to pull that up right
away. One thing about our people is whenever things like this happen, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, got this. Yeah, so this is the video. This is what he had to say. Let me check this out for starters. So. I'm going to take this back and start again. Okay.
I was taken to POS. If you go in now, you more bim when you're here. And where the Megum Nina Sinapiko Bruno Motum, Uno Waregum Nina, Bruno Motum, Chirifonum, or Free Kana Yoha, Asemoha Pico, Melunu Mebere, Abo Pianina Bundibo. Please, Obo no one not here now, put on Imo State, Mano Onye, Bigono Wuri, Mobian Imo State, and Imo States. Ian Chabuka Kwami, I bet to go by and ask my commander Gabia. I think on your bonishi, my driver Snow Moboga, MC Charlie Snow Moaboga, the other guy Snow Moaboga, I borrow Mochebe somewhere, Timun Okada. You can imagine a bonya booking Okada and Yebu, no Yare Naka, Onion Kenogin as on Yarebu, Okada Tosa, Yenana blood of Jesus, have mercy on me. Obuni Boni, where Bobby and also Woody. For yesterday, some of them
I think I'll pause it at this point, Tony. I think you raised quite salient points. Yes. The first being the identity of who these people are.
Yeah.
The second being the sophistication of their weapons. The ease of movement they seem to have is another problem I have sensed here. And the age bracket. Viable human resources being wasted to crime, Tony.
One thing is this: we must tell ourselves the truth. I have always said it. If we cover evil, evil will consume us one day. If we choose not to speak the truth because of one thing or the other, there will be a time we will not even have mouth to talk about that again. So I listened to the young man. I've known him. I've not met him in person, but I know that he has a lot of followers on Facebook, and I'm aware that he's also a broadcaster like us, and also an activist, an on-air personality, and also a soccer enthusiast. He has helped quite a lot. He has helped in raising money for different people with different ailments, We must note that. What happened? He was telling us that he was on his way to Imo State. Umaka Olu is a prominent town located within that Olu zone, specifically within Njaba local government area in Imo State, southern Nigeria. He got kidnapped, and we are told that in that kidnap, non-Igbo, the people who kidnapped him, they are all Igbos. That's the point he made us to understand. That the people that kidnapped him, they are all Igbos. They are not Hausa Fulani. And these are young men. And these young men, they have sophisticated weapons. The weapons are so much that there is trouble in the land, according to him, if you were to use his words. He said that they collected everything he had on him. They collected money. They collected everything, but they did not beat him. That's the only thing, that they did not beat him. That we wouldn't be thinking that Hausa Fulani people are the ones doing this to us. That the point remains that our brothers are the ones doing this. He was, people I saw when he made this post, people were saying, you are taking a big security risk. Why would you come out and say things like this? Why would you do this? Why? Because you have not been a victim. We know very well that he has taken a security risk to tell ourselves, tell our brothers, let's stop calling these people names. The real problem are our brothers. That's the point he's trying to make there. And he has helped humanity. And he said that why he was even allowed to go was because they got to know who he is. His effort in helping people with different medical issues. And he was asked to go without being beaten. That if not, he was known for that. That these people recognize that fact. He may not have come back alive. He may not have come back alive. And that underscores the fact that we must call evil, evil. We must call a spade a spade. Our people like painting issues, painting works. See, if you have a child growing up, and another woman has a child growing up, and a particular woman wants to protect the child. My child is the best. Even when he does wrong, you wouldn't want to spill it. And you forgot there is an Igbo adage that says, not even you. Because once you are overprotective of your child, your neighbor will see that child doing something wrong. Your neighbor will feign ignorance because you are over too protective of that child. And that child will go on and be destroyed in life. Caused by who? You. Because you allowed evil to thrive. You allow evil to grow wings. Because you don't want to speak. You don't want to talk. You don't want to call a spade a spade. You don't want to say the truth. Let's call evil. That's exactly what the young man is doing. That is, he said it that on the bubanye, all this ring, these things on the no anywa junimia. No, but I was then Hausa Fulani. No, they are not doing their own. They are not, because we have bandits. We have the terrorists. We have them.
We have the killer herders.
We have killer herders. But the truth remains that when it comes to these people, they come and go. That their own onslaught is that they will launch it and leave. But our brothers live with us, live around us, live within us, and we choose not to say it out. We choose to probably to come and go to a particular borabo and confess it as a private sin or confessional sin without even see. Obo na inchanine a too ice word, too vocal. The way we are vocal talking about issues in Nigeria, if we come out vocal the way things are within us, before you know it, these things people will know that there is no room for that again.
Oh well, Tony, when you talk about being vocal, I dare say that unfortunately our people have been bullied into being afraid. I'll tell you something quite briefly, because we need to proceed with what we have on our desk this morning. When the whole IPOB thing started, some persons called out the monsters we were making. Recall when they said that we are only attacking Nigerian facilities, Nigerian formations like the Nigerian police. We saw videos where they were clapped for and called Omoma. Do you remember? And then some of us said, this monster we are feeding will come back when we cannot feed it anymore to feed on us. But we were called names. I recall a particular Facebook post I made a couple of years ago The day they said Nigerian authorities were going around killing children by immunizing them, I was not even a mother then, but I've had my child vaccinated in her school over and over, and I came out to say, this is no killer vaccination. This is to build immunity against diseases. People came to my DM, people came to my comment section to call me all sorts of names. They tried to even slut shame me for, stuff like that. But look at the situation of things now. The monsters we fed, we allowed feed off things that we are not as, are coming back because there is nothing to devour from that end. They are now feeding on us. Mondays in the South is practically economically crippled. Unfortunately, we still talk about, the government is going to provide security, markets are going to be opened. I recall the Anambra State governor even gave an ultimatum at a point. But what is the destination at this point in time? We still sit at home on Mondays, and I don't know when it is going to end.
I think we have been watched a lot, and these things start from different markets. I must say this: once they package anything, once somebody comes out to wield such sentiment, before you know it, it gets to different social media groups.
They make voice notes.
Forward. And these things most times are not helpful. See, in life, we must fix the reality. Nobody is happy that Nnamdi Kanu is still in incarceration. And we have said it many times, the only thing that will bring him out is political solution. We are our leaders. We get involved. They have to get involved and look at certain things, but people will say, give him this, give him that. And then that Britain, that United States of America, that other countries you are calling, they will not come and help you. After all, they are fighting wars in many other countries. The country you are calling for help, they are fighting wars in other countries. So let's have that in mind. And it's good that if your brother gets in there, your brother will remember you. We've seen it in Nigerian political demography. But that is by the way. The point I'm trying to make is, the people you call all good names when they commit evil. How dare you call somebody good name when you know that the person is committing evil?
Not against you. So we have a selective means of judging
evil. It is wrong. I cannot stand here and pretend and call evil righteous because that evil is favoring me. That evil is in a way protecting me. That evil that protects you today will consume you tomorrow.
Sadly so.
That is the reality of life. And we fail to do what we are supposed to do. And this is exactly what is going on. And probably when these evils are committed, we attribute it to strangers and say that the strangers are the ones that committed it. And we also call on government to go after those strangers. But when we know our sons and daughters are the ones committing the evil, but we are not going to look at it. And some will have the temerity to tell government, call these people, know what is their grievance. That's what people are saying. And just like when we say here, when we are making analysis about Boko Haram bandits, and some people will say, why do you negotiate with these people? They have chosen to go this way.
Have them informations.
But I remember the governor of Anambra State did say one day that he is giving amnesty. And he asked, lay down your arms and embrace a lot of social empowerment programs. If the ones in place, you are not okay with it, relate with government and government will map out something for you. None of us is looking in that direction. None of us is seeing anything positive. Your own is call these brothers, let's ask them what their grievance. What is their grievance? Their grievance, we don't even know. Criminals have grievances. People that fail to work, lazy people, they have grievances. Their grievance is that they want to be rich without working, without any hard work. That's the grievance. And all over the world, no place in the world accommodates that. It's important. The last statement I'm going to make here, this statement credited to Okulora, is a reminder to the danger in our society. Is a reminder for some of us, out of political sentiment, out of sheer love for a particular person or no particular person, decide not to call evil an evil, but based on the euphoria of such sentiment. Tomorrow it will lead you. So let's begin now and call our brothers out of this evil. Let's tell them this is not a path to go. Let's talk to our brothers. Let them lay down their arms. Saying that Omar Kolo is deserted. That if you go there, according to that statement, You see those who are doing PO-based business, these people have sacrificed their life, that whatever they see, they take. People have left their homes. And security, army, they will come, move around at the end of the day when they leave, because they are not living there permanently. They may stay 1 month or 2 months. The next month they leave, they will come back again. And you will tell government, provide security. But you know those who are causing this problem. You are jeering them. In fact, you are a cheerleader. You are praising them, telling them they are doing well. And you are telling government, on the other hand, provide security. That is hypocrisy.
All right, then. We have the Punch newspaper on our desk. Banner headline, countdown to 2027. Ghana Barajay Markafi in tight race for PDP chair. The rider, neck divided over the Magom's fate. Wike plots counter move as PDP convention drama unfolds on page 2. Arias crisis. Protesting ex-soldiers pressure FG with Friday deadline. Find the story on page 7. Afro-Exim Bank leads $4 billion refinancing loan for Dangote refinery on page 22. States versus discos. Power cuts begin over tariff impasse. The rider. States defiant. Vow to dismantle disco's grip amid Enugu blackout on page 19. Further down, Tinubu gifts D Tigers $100,000 each. Flats OON titles on page 31. FARC to recover 101 billion naira from customs after audit report on page 20. $160 million fraud. Vietnamese police arrest 2 Nigerians, 5 accomplices on page 4. Olubado, Ladoja awaits marking days nod after council nomination on page 7. Going over to the Nation newspaper, a banner headline, PDP heads for another crisis over Congress's. Atiku left PDP in frustration, says Wike. Damagum Anyang others to vacate office December 8. Above that, you'd find the story on page 2, Congress's spark crisis. Right, Lagos declares Adron Lekki County Anchor 173 other estates illegal. Find this on page 3. Tinubu splashes $100,000 flats OON on victorious national basketball team. The Tigers on page 3. Above the banner headline, above the nameplate of the paper, African leaders shift focus to healthcare. Pate leads Nigeria's team on page 2. Women's rights group decries shower's attacks and police women on page 3. 38% of SSCE candidates make 5 credits, including math, English on page 4. INEC early 2027 campaign violates electoral law. Falana also reiterated that yesterday night. On page 3, 22 die in Niger road accident. On page 6, Ladoja named 44th Olubado designate on page 5. Wike threatens to seal off rent defaulters' houses. You'd find these stories on the Nation newspaper. Now on the Vanguard, the Tigers gets $100,000 each. Flats national honors on page 8. Says Nigerian women have never failed nation in sports. Your win will inspire generations unborn. First Lady says sports sector set for greater heights. Deco has that to say above the nameplate of the paper. NESG, high interest rate insecurity responsible for low economic growth. On page 30, against jewelry aimed at derailing all sector reforms. That's from a group. On page 7, flash floods ground Lagos businesses paralyzed. Also, Ogbara people are crying out to the Anambra State government, speaking about flooding, to come to their aid. It's another season and people are counting their losses. WAEC results only WASE results. Only 38.32% of candidates passed English and math on page 40. Projects. Tinubu has been fair to Southeast Umahi, has that to say on page 9. Ojulari resumes work amid resignation rumor on page 9. Isn't that interesting, Tony? PDP crisis temporarily over, Wike declares on page 11. Entitlements, ex-soldiers shut down finance ministry on page 6. On page 10, Olubado in council endorses Ladoja as 44th Olubado. US2 international students, we will revoke your visa if you skip classes or leave program. That's on page 9. APC ADC Becker over attacks on Atiku, Erufai, Obi Amechi on page 5. Now going over to the Guardian newspaper, 2027 Southwest PDP kicks as Wike backs Tinubu, gives fresh conditions for peace on page 3. Petrol soars to 955 naira per litre as NMPCL marketers hike prices on page 3. APC alleges El Rufai Atiku constitute threat to Nigeria's peace and unity on page 3. And on page 6, where you have the banner headline of the Guardian newspaper, desperation heightens as 2027 campaign begins 15 months ahead. I also record that Falano asked why we are having that kind of diversion, why we're having that kind of distraction. Presently, we should be looking at the dividends of democracy being delivered to Nigerians. But right now, we spend a lot of time bickering over who gets to Aso Rock come 2027, forgetting that we should live every day like it's our last. Aso Rock, White House reaffirmed trade ties despite tariff concerns on page 3. Nigeria's all output hits 1.78 million barrels per day in July, reduces H1, $5.3 billion revenue shortfall on page 6. Tinubu rewards state tigresses with national owners $100,000 each on page 2. Obedience, right, Obi. Complaint of exclusion in coalition moves on page 7. Does that smell like problem, Tony? Let's start with the D tigresses. They made us proud yesterday. I think it was 74-68, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they beat the people they contended with. Another round of humongous cash gifts. Do you have a problem with that, Tony?
We've talked about this, and then we must.
No, we talked about that for the.
That's what I'm saying.
Falcons.
That's what I'm saying. We've talked about this issue of cash gift by the president. And the important thing remains that he has replicated what he did for the Falcons. No doubt many Nigerians have issues with that. And it's important we also note that the presidency, no matter what, believes that these people, they deserve the money splashed on them. I'm wondering why the Tigress did not generate the noise the one of Super Falcons generated. And then they also, because probably they are not well known, many people do not follow basketball the way they follow football. And these people, just like we said earlier on, I think you talked about they have been African champions for many times. Yes, I think in basketball they have 12 players. Because during the play itself, 5 players will be on the court. Then you also have the remaining who will be probably on the bench. And you have about 5 coaches. And then those 5 coaches, you have physio, you have assistant coach, you also have some other medical staff. So in total, the entire team comprising both coaches, the physio, the medical personnel, they may be around 22 or thereabouts. Mr. President awarded them with $100,000 each, and at the same time the title or the honor OUN and the 3-bedroom flat apartment in Abuja. So I'm aware that Nigeria defeated Mali 78-64 points to clinch a 5th consecutive Afro-Basket crown. But
78-64.
Yes, but I think we know very well that people are no more talking. So what that means that we've got the money, $100,000 for a team that comprises about 22 persons.
Now, speaking about money,
so that's about
$2.2
million. That's what it means. And if you convert it to Naira, it's a big amount.
Yeah, speaking about appreciation for people who do well, we are learning that 38% of SSC candidates made 5 credits, including English and math. You see, when we had the controversy over JAMB, people had a lot of things to say concerning the results that came from the Southeast, especially since after the rewriting of the examinations, a lot of the students did tremendously well. Some said that they have gone to do the expo, the malpractices. Some other person said, oh, well, they were probably compensated by JAMB for the first flop. But with this result, it's obvious that these children came out to do something really good for themselves. 38%, did tremendously well. I saw the result of a child this morning. The child made 8 A's and 1 C6. And I was over the moon. I couldn't contain my excitement. It shows that, seriously, we still have young people in this era of TikTok who are willing to put in the work. So I was wondering, you're speaking about rewards. How come we do not have rewards given to academias? The other day, people were called to the Nigerian bar, and a lot of them made a first class. Conversations like this barely make it to mainstream appreciation. And when you talk about encouraging people, do you not think that academic prowess should also be encouraged?
Definitely, it has to be. I've always preached that very gospel, that we must at the same time reward academic excellence. There is nothing wrong in rewarding academic excellence, because it will also be a kind of a way to motivate people to come into it. Have we asked ourselves, why do we have malpractices everywhere? Because one of the reasons could be because we don't reward academic excellence, and we prefer to reward those who go half naked, those who dance in a club.
That is that why we have 62? Because when you take out 38%, it means that 62% performed beyond average. So, is that possibly why we also have a decline in the academic, in that pursuit of academic excellence?
I think the point is, nobody's laying emphasis on that. If you go to different places, they will tell you that going to school doesn't pay.
School na scam.
They will tell you that it's a scam. They will tell you it doesn't pay.
But it's not.
And in many young people, especially the male counterparts, they have abandoned anything in school. They will tell you, I will even employ your certificate, employ everything about you, and even give you money. You have to work for me, and I'm gonna give you money. And they will tell you, after all, Bill Gates wasn't even a graduate. And there are many of them. But you remember, destinies differ. You don't even know your calling. You prefer Yahoo, which has now become kidnapping. That's what you prefer. So I have always preached, we must reward excellence, and excellence could come in form of sports, it could come in form of academic. There are many things. Excellence comes in different way. Honesty, we must reward honesty. We must reward hard working. If in a companies, businesses, if you find a way to set up a reward system for somebody who is honest, even in that your little business, somebody who is hardworking in that your little business, somebody who is committed and dedicated, we must reward some of these things. So maybe, just like I've said, you must also say congratulations to the very team that made Nigeria proud, beating Senegal at the semi-final and also beating Mali at the final is no more any small means. Likes of Ami Okonkwo, Ezine Nekalo, Promise, Amo Kamara, and I think Victoria Macaulay, Sarah Ogoke, Funanyo Koro, Vera, Blessing Ejiofor, Nicole, and there are so many of them. Even Palace, Kunai, Abana, and Elizabeth Balogun. These are ladies that made us proud. And our quarrel had always been the reward given to them. Yes, many will agree that it is so much. But I will tell you, so much has been given to corruption, even when it should attract no reward. We have rewarded corruption in this country. We've seen corrupt people being rewarded with appointments. We've seen that. We've seen reward being done in a wrong way, in a negative way. We have rewarded incompetence. We have seen people who are incompetent that are even given more appointments. We have rewarded all manner of vices. You see people who are into this vice, you know what, you keep rewarding them. And I wouldn't quarrel whether it is high or not high, but my concern is that there is a reward for excellence. These young ladies, they excelled. Yes, they excelled. So that reward for me is what I hold dear to myself. Not really worried about whether it's large. Yes, we know things are bad in this country. Institutions are not working. Corruption. I've talked about people living in IDPs. 8.18 million Nigerians that pass through each day without knowing where their meal will come from. Many of them cannot even access drugs as little as malaria drugs. So that tells you that the foundation is totally wrong. But let's not be so much on the reward given to this young basket female team. They have done us well, they have done us proud, winning it back to back, AFCON, and you talk about the male. What are they also bringing to the country? They have done us proud. We must praise women. They have done us proud. Men, what are they doing?
Quite interesting coming from you.
But that's true. No. We speak the truth here. We must commend women. They have done us proud. What about men?
We need to take a break, attend to commercials. When we come back, we go over to the political scene. PDP is in the news. What for? Stick around to find out.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, Mama, Papa, they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, even children, they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, you get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your body, Wendy's bread, the champion.
Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
Anambra Patriots for Soludo. APGA ndị Anambra gakwanụ ntị o unu ekwekwana ka ewere unu wee kpuchie ọrụ ọma Chukwu nna Chichas Soludo wee na-arụ na Anambra steeti. Unu makwa na anyụkọ mamịrị ọnụ ọkpụ ụfụfụ. Ngwa bịakọtanụ n'igwe ka anyị kwado nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Chukwu ma Chichas Soludo. Unu afụghị ihe niile ọ na-eme na mbara dị iche iche site na Anambra North, South to Central. Na-ekwu okporo ụzọ niile nke ọrụgo, na-ekwu ụlọ akwụkwọ nke ọ na-emepe, na-ekwa hospital nke ọrụgo. Unu afụgono ka ụmụ nwaanyị anyị si wee na-amụ nwa n'udo free of charge. Ụmụ akwụkwọ wee na-agụ akwụkwọ n'efu. Ihe a niile ya na ihe ndị ọzọ ka Chukwuma Chichas Soludo na-eme na Anambra steeti. A na-ekwusi maka New Government House nke kwuru okwu ya kemgbe 1991, ya bụ 34 years na ya na Soludo arụgharịghị ya. Kedu maka New Solution Fund City nwanne m Soludo nọ n'ọrụ. Ndị Anambra ọrụ ọma ama nkwụkwọ agụ bịanụ n'igwe ka anyị kwado nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Chukwuma Chichas Soludo. Anambra Patriots for Soludo.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
If you just joined us, this is The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. And of course, we are proceeding over to some political matters now. The PDP is in the news, like I said earlier. The nation says PDP heads for another crisis over Congresses. The riders Achiku left PDP in frustration, says Wike, Damagomu, and others to vacate office by December 8. Another round of crisis may be brewing in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, over the outcome of some of its congresses. Ahead of the November 14 convention in Ibadan, where new national officers of the party will be elected, congresses have been held at the ward, local government and geopolitical zone levels. Among these are the would-be delegates to the convention. But the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, yesterday queried the Southeast zonal election, saying it should not stand. He warned that the zonal election in his south zone, which some leaders of the party have challenged, must not be tampered with. Tony, the PDP seems to be Chibo and also Agboma. One day you want trouble. And so, what do you make of this new inconsistencies with their regional, states, and local government congresses?
I think we are talking about People's Dramatic Party. I've always termed them to be the most dramatic party I've ever known in the world. And then if you look around, they have merged with APC and PDP. Now, as presently constituted, is APC and APC is PDP. There's no difference. There's certainly no difference between the two political parties, as we saw in what happened in Rivers State, where the candidates of the PDP or the people or the aspirants on the PDP emerged as a candidate of APC. We saw it in the Rivers State local government election that will be held anytime from now. What does that tell you? You cannot even separate PDP and APC, as we saw in Rivers State. These people were aspirants under PDP. They eventually emerged candidate under APC. So our electoral system is in serious trouble, where a candidate can belong to two different political parties. He can buy a nomination form in this party, becomes a candidate in another party. That's exactly what we saw. And the worst remains that a military administrator is the one organizing the local government election. There is nothing you cannot see in Nigeria. A military administrator that has no constitutional leaning, constitutional backing, has no constitutional foundation, is now organizing a local council election in River State, where you cannot even differentiate the candidates, whether they're PDP or the APC. So that is the funny part of it, the PDAPC. And then you talk about the dramatic party. It's important we have made it known that it's not about the zonal south, or probably their, I think the south had their zonal congress originally, I think around sometime around April 2025, and then we are having Southeast with their own. And then, see, I have said it many times, I'm no more concerned about the PDAPC. My concern is what they are also doing, because if you look around the news you hear, the Southeast Zonal Congress, South Zonal Congress, they are positioning themselves to ensure that Mr. President is delivered. And then that's the politics. We have not seen this kind of politics. Even during the time of Obasanjo, we've not seen it. We have parties will become one. Two major political parties will become one and get into tango. If they are in alliance, they should declare it. If they are in any way having an alliance, they should they make it known to people. But we've not seen that. So let's leave the dramatic party to go on with their drama. There's one drama today, another drama tomorrow. So we know what they're all out for. We can say that you could leave because of frustration and all that. Nobody. You've seen your game. Boldly, you made it known that you are going to ensure that PDP delivers President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is also the president and then a member of
the APC.
The APC and national leader of APC. Somebody who calls himself one of the chieftains of the PDP says that he will use PDP to deliver Mr. President. And we saw that going on in River State. And we've seen the Zonal Congress the South people had. And we saw people that emerged from that Zonal Congress. And that is probably what's going to happen for the Southeast. So that's the game. We saw a PDP governor, saying that he will ensure that President Bola Tinubu is delivered. But it's one thing, I don't know why Oyetola recused himself from the Osun State election. I don't know why. I saw a release where he said that he will not be participating, because I had thought that why Adeleke was shut down from going into APC officially was because of Oyetola's ambition. Oyetola is a brother to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but Oyetola, I saw the release from his office where he said that he would not be participating in the Osun governorship election. I saw that, so I was quite surprised. Could it be that they are trying to have an arrangement or agreement with Adeleke? But I've seen APC in Osun State mocking Adeleke with all manner of tantrums and banters. I've seen that, but this is politics. Anything can happen. And if you look around, look at what Felix Mwaka described El-Rufai with. In fact, I looked at that one because El-Rufai had gone to a political rally in Sokoto, and they called the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu clannish, incompetent. That was his words. I think he made that very statement sometime around August 2nd. That was last Saturday. But look at how Felix Mwaka, the publicity secretary of All Progressive Congress, he berated El-Rufai. In fact, he said that El-Rufai's attack was nothing short of somebody who has shown yet another outburst of a waspish politician. And not that. He said that his speedy fall from commanding heights to the political clown he has become. He opened his mouth and called El-Rufai political clown. That's APC policy secretary. And I'm just going to quote him. His speedy fall from commanding heights to the political clown he has become needs forensic study. Forensic study. It could also be psychiatric examination again. He's addressing El-Rufai. And when I say these people, they are into politics, they use a matter of languages, and they have invented so many. It's all about interest. So I can even go on and let you know some of the things he said about Atiku. He said about P2B. Look at what Barno or Nonoga said about P2B. He called P2B a liar.
I'd like you to evaluate this statement. It is now clear to all Nigerians that El-Rufai and his cohorts in the ADC are on a mission to upend the presidential rotational principle designed to promote national unity and cohesion in the country through the imposition of Atiku as presidential candidate of the ADC in the middle of a southern presidency turn. You know where this is going to. The whole idea that the seat is should be in the south, and of course Atiku being from the north, and the insinuation that ADC is already seated to Atiku, and also the talks about Obi shopping for another platform. And so this entire thing about where somebody is from, isn't it time we do away with it? I listened to Falano last night. He said, for starters, it is illegal for these conversations to be going on now. I mean, talking about these subtle campaigns, because this is what we actually are having. But unfortunately, the people at the helm of affairs, for instance, hasn't said anything since this whole entire charade started. And so the question is, for starters, isn't it illegal? And why are we not stopping this entire discourse in the first place? Isn't it too early? And secondly, do you think that there is anything wrong in a person from the north, wanting to become president, regardless of the entire zoning arrangement? Because in the words of El-Rufai, we should be looking at competence and not where the person is from.
El-Rufai statements can always suit his political leaning at any point. So let's not.
Falano?
If I'm talking about El-Rufai. Now let's talk about Falano. There is a difference between political discussion and campaigns. There are quite two different things. And one thing about campaigns that it ends up with saying, vote for this person. So I think he's mistaking these two. Campaigns are different from political discussions. And most times, opposition must function. Opposition is to keep government on its toes and make sure that government does not derail, and also provide alternative platform, telling people that we can do this better. And that is what opposition does anywhere in the world. So Obi has consistently done that.
So you don't consider the entire barrage of I can do it better, this is why I can do it better. You don't consider it subtle campaigning?
If you call it subtle campaigning, it is just your own narration. As we speak today, even in United States, in Canada, in UK, you see opposition trying to tell the people, trying to tell government we can do it better than the way you had a particular thing, and they leverage on anything government does. They will tell government we have a better solution than the one you have. That's opposition. So it is not campaign. It's not campaign. We know what campaign is, but they can call it subtle campaign. Yes, opposition must be known, must be heard. Their voices must be heard. That is the beauty of democracy. Nobody can shut up. Once you shut opposition, it means there's no democracy. That's what it means. Let's get it right. So I disagree with Falana when he says that these things are subtle campaign. These are, you can call it political discussion, but campaign starts when people start having political rallies and political drums rolled out, canvassing for vote. I think nobody has started canvassing for vote now. And if vote canvassing hasn't started, it's not such kind of campaign. But if it is based on issues, policies of government, where somebody says, no, government cannot do this. We saw the issue of 712 billion naira being splashed on rehabilitation of Terminal 1, Murtala Mohammed International Airport. And the opposition can say, no, you can't put that money there. You cannot, because we have other priorities. And I can do it better if I wear. It's not campaign. It's part of political discussion. It's a way of trying to keep government to its toes, trying to put government to ensure that it prioritizes the needs of the people, the needs of Nigerians. Political campaign is when you start to roll out the political drums, all the political gadgets, you go out to canvass for vote. Is anybody canvassing for vote now? The answer is nobody's canvassing for vote. So let the political discussion begin. Let it begin. But the emphasis should be, let the government not be distracted, because the opposition can achieve any intention to distract the government. If they distract the government, it's to their own gain. That is politics.
Isn't the government of the day getting distracted by itself?
Definitely, that's what it appears. They get carried away with opposition voices. And mostly, I think the strategy they have deployed seems not to be best. Attacking opposition. If you look at what Bayon Onuga released, if you look at what Felix Morka released, we are calling El-Rufai names, calling Atiku names, calling Obi names. And they choose most of the dirtiest languages. And if you call it, when you call Obi a lie again, you've lied again. You said something about Nelson Mandela, you said something about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, they reminded him he served for second time, he was shot, he was killed in his second term. But Obi had posted that Abraham Lincoln had one term. But they reminded Obi, Abraham Lincoln had 2 terms. He was assassinated in his second term. And they reminded Obi that even Nelson Mandela did not campaign on one single term. That he changed his mind, because even when the party had prepared him for second term, he made his mind and said he would not go. And most important reason he gave was because of his age. But the intention of it was trying to carry that you can do something within a single term. That's the implication if you look at what Obi has said. The intent on his statement, even when he did not get it outrightly right. Why I say outrightly right? Because you wouldn't say that Abraham Lincoln went for one term. He was killed in his second term. But the intent is you can do something within the first single term. That you can achieve more. And that was the underlying thing about Obi's statement. And I read it. He says that these people, they did wonders. They are remembered all over the world. John Kennedy was killed in his first term. Abraham Lincoln had just one term, got into the second term, killed prematurely. Then you had Nelson Mandela, who served single, and they were acknowledged all over the world. What they did, their policies, their legacies. Remember that. Why wouldn't somebody do it in single time here in Nigeria? That is his message. So they left the core intent of the message and started looking at how the message was structured, how he puts it. How he puts it may not be the issue. The issue should be the core intent of the message, that you can do something within a single time. And they reminded of me, why did he also go for second time as a governor of Anambra State? That's what they asked him. You are a preacher of single time because of political convenience. That as a governor of Anambra State, why didn't you end up as single time and let the legacy you so much talked about speak for you? That you are so much passionate about your second time to complete some of the things you started. And that was the reminder they gave him, that when you were going for second time in Anambra State, you were telling them they want to accomplish some of the projects you started. And they asked him, why didn't you accomplish those projects and let the legacy speak for you in single time? So I think those things are neither here nor there. That is the political discussion. But the way and manner, the languages they use, I think somebody will say that is not decent enough. But these politicians, they're actors. They're actors. And they go all out in full throttle to bring the other person down. But I think the whole political discourse should center on issues, not on mudslinging, on attack, calling somebody a liar. That's what Brian Onoga called Obi. Calling somebody a clown. That's what Felice Morka called El-Rufai. And using all those words. They mentioned their names. You remember yesterday, I said if they had not mentioned them, it can be referred as one of those political vibes. But this time around, they are mentioning names. You call somebody's name and tell the person is a clown. You mention somebody's name and call the person you're a liar. So that's how far they are going. If they had said that anybody who thinks that this will be done or not, that person must be a liar, is, for me, respectable. That person must be a liar. You didn't mention anybody's name. But the truth remains that opposition will not be shut down in this country. We need opposition at all time, not because it is convenient for somebody today. Because let's assume if Obi were to be in presidency, if he were to be there, and if this opposition come, you will see some people we attack those who may be coming up with opposition. See, where you are today, remember you can be there, you can be in another person's position tomorrow. Yes, it's not about sentiment. Where you are today may not be where you may be tomorrow. So tomorrow, when the goalposts change, remember the role you played where you were before. That's one thing I preach to people. It's not about political convenience. Let's be real.
All right, then also another story on our desk this morning. I think we'd pretty much be concluding with this one. Entitlements ex-soldiers shut down finance ministry. A group of retired soldiers shut down the Federal Ministry of Finance, Abuja, yesterday while protesting the non-payment of their gratuity, security debarment allowances as they A, and other entitlements. The protests, which began at about 7 a.m., left ministry workers stranded for hours as they were unable to access their offices as the aggrieved ex-servicemen, comprising men and women, demanded the immediate release of their outstanding allowances. We understand they've given the federal government an ultimatum till Friday, and I keep asking, Tony, why do we keep having this back and forth with giving people their entitlements, especially where these people barely scrap off to feed? Falano yesterday said that the middle class has been taken out of the system. The population of our people who live in multidimensional poverty cannot be, I think it cannot even be properly captured. The 130 million we have is a vague statistic because last I checked, when was the last time we had a proper census? It was 2006, remember? And so when we have that rough estimate of 130 million, I sit back and laugh. Because go to the rural areas, people are suffering. And then people give their lives to service in the military. Some of them come out scarred, some of them come out probably even injured for life. They have the psychological end of it to deal with. And the simple thing, remember that they also, in some cases, contribute, generically now, most pensioners contribute to the pension scheme. There is also the 2% that is being taken out for the housing scheme. Why are all of these things not being taken seriously?
I think we have a problem in this country, there's no doubt. We have multiplicity of problems, we have myriads of problems. I remember that even the retired military personnel, sometime around December 2024, many of them were voluntarily discharged and barricaded from the Federal Ministry of Finance on Abuja. In fact, when they staged a protest, but we saw that that has also repeated itself again. Payment of gratuity has been a problem. And just like we said, during the time the police servicemen went on protest, and we looked at the issue of their gratuity, and many of them looked around, they are paid 1 point or 1. We looked at these things here. What is the gratuity of a policeman who may have retired as a sergeant or who may have retired as an inspector? We are told that the gratuity most times 1.5 million, 2 million, depending, and even that 1.5 million is not up to $1,000. Yes, for somebody who has given his time 35 years in service. And then I saw a social media message where they put the girls and they say $100,000 in a month. That's the tournament. Then they put the servicemen. They said $1,000 in 35 fees. I don't know if you understand the narration. People are trying to make something out of it.
Sadly so, yes.
That these people, these girls that achieved the fame or they have achieved success for 1 month, $100,000. Then the servicemen, well, their own paid, but the servicemen, $1,000 for gratuity after 35 years, yet not paid. And they said, where is justice? That if you cannot pay a man who has rendered 35 years to the country in service, $1,000 you wanted, or probably you promised, which is not what it should be anyway, and you are paying $100,000 to somebody who put a service in 1 month, that there is no justice. But we understand that such analogy may not really be roundly correct. We know one has to do with tournaments, one has to do with a career service. But even at that for me, $1,000 as gratuity is too poor, very poor. And these air servicemen are also complaining something. Not that it is poor, it is not even paid, and they contributed to it. They had deductions from their salaries, and the employer, that is the government, also made their own contribution. That's why it's called contributory pension scheme. And many of them have debunked and they have said they don't want fraud to continue, that it does not pay, that their money are being invested in some other ventures, yet it also make interest. Are they also pay the interest, the money are being deducted from their salaries, and the ones government put in there, and the investment they do make, who takes the interest? They have asked a lot of questions. And then that's why sometimes if people, a particular region, decide not to get enrolled either in police or in military, you blame them because they see no future there. They see no future. They say, oh, this will become my fate if I get into. Remember there was a time we talked about it and we told the region, get involved. And it has become evident that year in after year, they don't even complete their quota. They don't even show any interest. And with things like this going on, do you think that problem will be solved? So there is a foundation problem everywhere. Everywhere. I don't see why a policeman who spent 35 years, who put his life in the service, should be given just $1,000 as gratuity. Even when a teacher gets something more. And there are some teachers that get 5 million.
Do they even get paid as and when?
But that's the point. Why wouldn't the system make this thing to be prompt? Why? Because of corruption. And we play around some of these things until we begin to do things we should do as a country and empower institutions to work independently of government dictates. We'll get some things right. And everybody is subjected to public accountability at all time and transparency on how these things are done. So we can get it there. That's how, before some of these countries, how they became what they are today. They began with strengthening institutions. Politicians came together and said, you know what? Let's put our interests, political interests aside. Let's strengthen our institutions and make it in a way that we may not have such influence on these institutions, because you must make institutions to be purely stronger than strong men. You have strong men dictating for these institutions. And politicians all over Europe, Western countries, you know what they did? They made the issue of appointing some of these people, some of these personnel in those critical institutions to be totally independent of government influence, so that nobody comes in there and then decides to do what and guess whatever he wants. And it works for them, and they empower their courts. And the first you must start with is to make your judiciary so independent. Once you start with the courts, you have solved the 50% of the problem. Once the courts look at government and gives justice without knowing, and where the government cannot do anything to the court in area of appointment, in area of career, in area, you don't give them anything, they don't get anything from you, they don't need anything from you, they are totally on their own doing their work. You can't remove them, you cannot put them. Once we get this thing, that is how America began, by strengthening their judicial system. That is why they made Supreme Court judges in the United States of America to be Supreme Court judge for life. Why do they make them for life? Because you cannot retire me, you cannot remove me, They will be there till they die. They will be there till they are incapacitated, and it is obvious they cannot function. When I'm doing something and I know tomorrow my retirement is coming, you know what I will do? I will hurry up my evil. I will accumulate more. I will accommodate more so that I will bow out. So that when I bow out, I will not go and suffer. In US, there are Supreme Court justices. They stay there for life. They are just 12 in number. 12 in number. You can't put them. You can't remove them. The only person that can remove them, even in Nigeria, even if you say National Assembly, they can be impeached. Supreme Court judges are impeached the way governors are impeached in the United States of America. You start the impeachment proceeding by first looking into the wrong the person must have said to have committed. And it must pass that they do impeachment, not the president will do the way he did to Walt Onohen. Use ex parte order, ex parte application made by one party. You remove a Chief Justice of Nigeria and you want the judiciary to be independent. When any member of the Supreme Court hears that Walt Onohen was removed in this way and nothing happened, why wouldn't the person dance to the tune of politician so that he will also have his own benefit, knowing fully well that once he's 75 that he has to bow out. Once the person is 75, he has to bow and he has to make hurry to accommodate more so that in my retirement I won't suffer. In United States of America, they strengthen the judiciary. Supreme Court justices, they serve there for life. So you have nothing to worry about. So if you're giving judgment or justice or whatever you're giving in defense of oppression, you go straight and then state what the law says without any fear of oppression. Can we have this thing here? The answer is no. Can we strengthen our institutions? Where politicians come together and say, let's leave political leaning, political interest, political partisanship, and then strengthen these institutions to work so that none of us can have influence on this institution. That is the resolve the Western world made. None of them can have influence on any institution. And that is why the Prime Minister will be stopped by police and ask you, didn't put your seatbelt? Can anybody stop the convoy of president in Nigeria? Can anybody stop the convoy of governor? Even some individuals with money, can you stop their convoy? But you have a police that stopped a convoy of prime minister and demanded that the seatbelt was not properly put. Can we have such institution in this country? We have a long way to go.
We have a really long way to go, Tony. I mean, look at me all smiles at how you are, I would call it reciting the litany of what it is. I mean, it is what it is, but the big question would be, when do we see these changes? When? It's a rhetoric, all right? Hopefully, Nigerians, we do the right thing when we are able to. But for now, we are opening the phone lines. Before I read out the numbers, we are live on Facebook at Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Drop your comment right there. You can join the conversation now. Put a call across to 0803 221 6973 0803 827 6694. From insecurity in the southeast to some political matters, and of course the recently released WAEC results, the money given to the female basketball players who have won the 5th time in a row, and of course landing now at the non-payment of what retired soldiers are due. Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're
Yes,
welcome. It's
good
good to have
morning.
you.
Good morning, everybody in the house.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, yes, me, Jidovian, is calling from Mumbai.
Go ahead, please.
The truth is that every system in Nigeria is corrupt. I believe everything Tony said this morning, every system in this country is corrupt. The only person that Nigeria needs now is someone that can stand alone and fight this corruption. You understand? Somebody that can sit at the face of every government, I mean the president, and only Mr. P2B can do this. Honestly, Mr. P2B has the political mind, has the political mind also to deliver this country from this corruption. I'm telling you, because he's a man of his word, and also he's a man of his own. Understand? But they don't want somebody that will revive this country. They don't need P2B. That's why they are fighting him. But if only P2B can be able to stand in this country and become the president of this country, just for only 4 years, he can do wonders. I'm telling you, honestly. I'm not complaining for him, but in my heart, I know this is the only man that can deliver Nigeria. You understand? That's my opinion this morning. Thank you.
All right, then. Good morning. 0803-221-6973. Keep it in the 2 minutes mark. Good morning.
Honorable Badmos from Nnewi.
Go ahead, please, Badmas.
Good. Let me go to insecurity, the one that you guys treated first. Let me tell you something. I said it earlier that Buhari could have declared state of emergency in Imo State. The only thing that can solve the problem in Imo State right now is state of emergency. All these things they are doing, deploying, if you deploy a soldier, they will go, these guys will still come out, and those that are identified with security agents will be killed or kidnapped. It's not helping issue. The federal government, Tinubu, should declare full-scale state of emergency in Imo State. If we do that, all this nonsense will stop. But they don't want to do it because of politics. You understand? They don't want to declare state of emergency. Why? Because of politics. Nothing is working in Imo State as we speak. Nothing. The road that links in Yoma to Ihiara, go there right now, you won't see any vehicle. Nobody is going there. So why do we still have governor and House of Assembly here? What are they doing? This is exactly what Jonathan did in the north, when he could have declared a full-scale state of emergency in Boronu, Adamawa, and Yobe. He went there and declared partially state of emergency, and we are wasting our security agents and the military every time. Look at what happened 4 days ago. Well, one House of Assembly member from Ebonyi State was shot and 2 policemen died. And the president did not see any reason to declare state of emergency in Imo. I am from Imo State. But we cannot continue like this. Because when you declare state of emergency, the military will now take over. They will now bring a pathway. If you are coming to Imo State, follow this side, follow this side. We don't have it now. You can run into anything in Imo State. There is no particular road that people will say, this place is safe. Military are there, you can walk out there and nothing will happen to you. So, I'm putting it, since Buhari did not see any reason to declare an emergency there, and what is happening continue to happen, Tinubu should declare an emergency there. Because you cannot continue like this. So that's what I want to say based on security.
All right then.
Yeah, because if they continue like this, we're not going to head anywhere. Because from that Imo State, they are entering Anambra, they are entering Abia, they are launching. Imo State is now the launching pad. And the only way to stop this is state of emergency. There is no amount of military deploy, because when you deploy military, they will come and go. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Okay. Let's see who is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, Olisa Mbeki and Chisom, good morning.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
I'm Emmanuel calling from Onitsha. Let me say this. All this insecurity in Nigeria here and there, and we keep on blaming ourselves, blaming our brothers from the north. Olisa Mbeki has said it all. Here in Southeast, at least 30% of what insecurity here is from our people here. Yes. And in the north, something in their place at least 100% of them, what happened there is their people. And I want to ask this question to Olisa Mbeki. These soldiers that are doing protest, the other day retired policemen and now retired soldiers, are they not the ones that are shooting you when you should come out to protest for party government? The only people that are killing you, they are the ones that are killing you. So I don't have any sympathy with them. Then in terms of what is happening in Nigeria, you are now saying that the whole system in Nigeria has collapsed or corrupt. Let me tell us something. Even if it will be 100 to come and take Nigeria on in 2027, nobody in Nigeria now will repair Nigeria. They will call it repair. Because Nigeria has destroyed the rich. And the one another person will come and do something in Nigeria. No. Only Russia and India have population more than Nigeria. And they are white. Corruption in black men is too much that they cannot control this type of big nation. I know that in Nigeria is almost 300 million. But we are calling 250 or 240. The only thing that will save Nigeria now is this one Nigeria member. Let us come together and discuss Nigeria. If we get Nigeria like 4 countries or 3 or 6 countries, then we will become a good neighbor. And there will be competition. All these nonsense we are seeing, nobody will make Nigeria good again. If you don't like it, God Jesus Christ on earth.
All right.
Make Nigeria good again.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning. You should try to reconnect. Good morning. Are you there? Could you please turn down the volume on your radio set?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hello, I am Ebuka Mike.
Go ahead.
You live from Boa.
Go ahead.
This morning, please, I want to take on the one of tomorrow.
Oh dear, you should try to reconnect. Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Mbeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yes, Henry from Onitsha, Jerry.
You're welcome, Henry. Please
Go
go.
ahead, Henry.
Yes, thank you. I'm the kind of person that if you tell me a story, I begin to look at it. I begin to assess it, to make out the exactness, of course, the truthfulness in that story. I'm referring to the story by the, what do you call that? The story of the kidnap.
Okay, Opulora.
Udala, yes. I take that with a pinch of salt. Yes. I just imagine, kidnappers seeing a passenger in a vehicle, I think about 4 or 5 of them, and, was there asking who is that. And at the end of the day, they just pick one person, they go away. Okay? Concluding that the rest are no others in their various categories, right? You don't tell me everything and they just get away with that. I hope this is not just a gimmick. How do I mean? I hope somebody is not just coming up to maybe to accentuate that statement that Governor Maryland, the USA. I don't know. But we all are not there. But personally, I think that was a piece of thought. Personally put, I don't believe it.
But what part of it do you not believe? Is it the part where he mentioned that the people he kidnapped him spoke the dialect of the place that he was in, speaking about Imo State?
I have my Yoruba friend who speaks Igbo fluently. My Yoruba friend, he speaks Igbo fluently. Forget about fluency or whatever, what somebody speaks, please. Not went to school.
Quite an interesting
so
take.
Anyway.
Quite an interesting take.
And the issue of what's the other one? The fishery magnet businessman. I wonder, things that happen, and things will always happen, and people do things their own way, or the way they feel fit. I wonder why this, we become a news, become so, relevant. When 15 young men were slaughtered at Libo, and nobody conducted any whatever for them. And they have forgotten by now. All of them have forgotten. 15 boys. That's one apart. On the issue of award for the basketball team, I have some ambivalence about that award or whatever. How do I mean? The award is open. It's quite astonishing. Yes. Any sound Nigerian who already knew the present economic situation in Nigeria wouldn't accept that. Okay? Now look at the ambivalence. This time around, everybody has seen the type of money involved, right? The amount involved for a reward. Now, fumble will occur, okay, in the sports arena.
because every Duke had which wants to go and they grab theirs. It's open. So another one can get in and become a player. Okay? And psychopathy, ethnicity, fatality will now begin to set in just to favor one, to make that money. Then we restore. It will result into retrogression. Our sports, prestige will begin to go down. What am I saying exactly? Things should be done moderately. Giving out billions of naira for such, to me, it's not a welcome. Thank you.
All right then. Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning.
My name is Comrade Olisa Mbeki. I'm calling you from Onitsha. Can I go on?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. You see, it is better we tell ourselves the truth. Let me use Osu local government as a case study. I was born in Osu local government. I don't want to mention the name of my community. I was born in Osu local government. I had my primary and secondary school in Osu local government. Through my years in both primary and secondary school, I have never seen one Fulani man in Osu local government. I can tell you that for sure. But when this Fulani came, I'm not saying that they are not attacking some parts of Southeast like Ebony. I can tell you, also where I come from, I have never seen one Fulani man. But if I tell you many camps of these people, if I tell you their camps, several camps they have in us, you begin to wonder, who are these people pursuing? Yes, you tell us you come to fight Fulani who are invading our land. Where are these Fulani people? Look at the point I'm trying to make. We are deceiving ourselves. You see that in that Okulio said, it is nothing short of the truth. That was the truth. Okay? People stop, doing all these things, that thing has started consuming us now. Recently, there was an amnesty program in our local government, The people are fed up with the activities of these people. So the stakeholders of the community look to their name. In fact, one of them called me on phone and said, they put my name there. I'm not one of that. I said, Mr. Man, you know yourself. Go to Owerri and ask. They're not killing you. Of course, we heard that the program was successful. Let us see how positive it will be. So the point I'm trying to say is the people of Omaka knows the people who are doing this thing.
Okay.
Only the time they will just wake up and say, enough is enough. That is when that thing will stop. Because also now, I think the thing is gradually coming down. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Someone agrees that Okeno no Guankeno Navia na Azudinangega. Good morning. Are you there?
Good
Hello
morning,
there.
my honored speaker. My name is Honorable George.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
You see, let me start with the back and front that all these the handlers of President Tinubu, they are just fighting everybody. That shows that the government are not doing well. It's just a simple understanding that the government are not doing well. Because if the government are doing, they will have something they will be showing to Nigeria. Yes, I'm not against them saying this money that they are saying. I will let them share the money. I myself, I'm even hoping that Shan will start. I think we start today. Nigeria versus Mali. And if those people can try the best now and win that Shan for our first time, they may give them the same money. Just some of us that did not even have the opportunity to play football. At least it will be our better opportunity to eat our national cake. But let us forget about celebrity. Let them be spreading the money the way they are spreading the whole money. But all I know is that if the time that you used to be starting criticizing other people, fighting other people's comments, why can't politicians advise their principle? and tell them the principal, tell them that look at what you are doing. Rather than be paying all this lot of money, just to be answering people. This person P2B talk today, you go answer them. The article talk tomorrow, you go answer them. I will find talk tomorrow, you go answer them. Is that why we are here? Like what one of your callers said, look at this country is too big for one president. That's what we are looking at. Because you cannot be in Abuja. Anybody tweet, anybody's comment, you say you are lying. Is that why we are here? Is that the hunger we are facing in the country? Is that the insecurity that we are facing in the country? This is very, very good.
Right.
Sometimes, before this country will be very good for we all, we must make sure that some of our journalists will be the payroll of all these politicians.
Okay.
That's only way, because you cannot sit down any security will turn it upside down. That this person is against this person is person, this person. If we are continuing this way, we are not going to make any headway in this country.
Okay, your point is clear, Tony. I think he's reiterating what you said yesterday concerning the twists being made to some statements, and at the end of the day, the polity is heated, and we are having some sort of diversion where we should be talking real matters. Good morning. Could you please turn down the volume on your radio set? Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are in the studio, Professor Mbeki. Good morning.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
This is Anthony Mecheta. I'm reaching you this morning from Onitsha. I'll begin by saying that the state of insecurity that we are witnessing here down in the southeast, I think is as a result of our negligence and the illusion that we had when the thing started initially. I know we thought that it was for our own benefit, and even the code name Muhammad that you used to call this, the people that gave them such appellation, such name, and now the soft landing made them to enter this, even to be creating camps, and now we have to rise again collectively to renounce them and begin to teach them out, also stop this council that is in deep into the society of the Southeast. I want to say that the government of the day has demonstrated insensitivity to the plight of Nigerians. Because last 2 days, the nurses called off their strike. Even today, we are hearing that the retired soldiers has staged a protest at the finance office. And to show you that the lack of proper welfare of men and women who have dedicated their service and their life for this nation. And the way I commend the president for recognizing the tigers. But what we are saying is that the reward for any good job is well commendable. But when we begin to splash money, it's an indication that we have enough money to throw about. But my question is, there is a time will come when we will not be able to sustain the momentum. 100,000 was given to the Falconet, now 100,000 to the Tigress, and one other amount was mentioned. They jumped up, they jumped down. Now, if any other athlete win anything, we are expecting anything not less than $100,000.
All right, then.
Can we be able to sustain this momentum? Because I was watching when the award was announced. When the award was announced,
it should be round enough.
Okay, and conclusively, it has shown that we have enough money to throw around. What happens to those state persons, even the people in the academia, even the people
okay. These are exactly what we reiterated when we had that conversation. If it's enough to go around, then appreciation should go around. People are doing noble things in different fields in the country. Academics, we pointed that out earlier. Now we're going to go to Facebook. I'm going to start with yours. Izuchukwu Chukwurasod. He says it's unfair to bring IPOB into the discussion surrounding Okulора's kidnapping. IPOB has consistently maintained that they are civil and law-abiding. The kidnapping is a tragic and deeply troubling incident, highlighting the government's failure to ensure the safety of its citizens. The perpetrators could just as well be members of a cult group or political thugs. Izuchukwu, I am going to answer you, and I'm going to try as much as possible to keep this as brief as possible. When we talk about twisting of statements, this obviously is one of them. And so what I said is, sometimes we groom monsters. We allow them feed off other people. And when these people are finished, they come back to feed on us. So whether we like it or not, whether you sit in the comfort of your home and decide to tell yourself that it didn't entirely start with IPOB, it's okay. But you and I know where it all started. And so when it started, we called for this a stoppage because we knew that it was going to be hijacked. Look around you. The #AnsArs protest, has there ever really been anything that criminals do not find a way to twist to suit their own narrative? So the perpetrators at this point is no longer the question. It is, when these things start, what do we do? I made that statement in allusion to people who say that some of the perpetrators of these criminal activities are from among us, and we call them liars. We say they are demarketing us, but unfortunately they are saying the simple truth. I hope that is clear enough. I'm going to your Sebastian Apigwe. He says, honestly, what is happening in our political system is quite pathetic, owing to the counterparts in the West African region. My speaker, just like what you said, that there is no difference between the PDP and the APC. I equally want to extend such notion to the leadership structure of APGA, because Governor Soludo, having endorsed Bola Tinubu irrespective of his weak policies and programs, you can agree with me that the ideology of APC is a welcome development to APGA. As a matter of fact, there is nothing different from APGA and APC as well. I come in peace. Wechi Obi, we see you. Bullion Milnet. He says Nigeria is a scam and a joke. The earlier some of you understand this, is better for you shouting one Nigeria. Imagine a country that is only the great-grandfathers ruling the country in the states. Sooner, everyone is going their separate ways in Nigeria. It's okay for you to... you're texting from New Delhi, India. You see what we are saying? You are texting from New Delhi, India. The fire burning here. We are the ones feeling it. But you are there in New Delhi, India, putting more firewood in the fire. Quite an interesting take. Albino Patrick, good morning to you too. Farco C, he says, the Jagaban rewarding hard-working athletes is a welcome development, and the only thing that I'll commend this government for would be, let them also replicate the good gestures to other sectors that are begging for attention, especially civil servants. Okay. Honorable Sabon, he says, I concur with Badmus to some extent. Mr. President needs to make a pronouncement on the emergency rule. But the truth of the matter is that such pronouncement cannot be made because of the APC's presence in the state. Really, the kind of democracy being played in this country called Nigeria leaves a lot of questions begging for answers. Okay, this is the much we can take. Joni, what are your last words this morning? We are totally out of time.
The facts speak for themselves. I have always said, you are here tomorrow or today. You don't know where you are going to be tomorrow. Because the goalpost may change. Will you still say the same thing you are saying now? It is convenient for you to say these things now. Will you say it tomorrow?
Thank you for being here.
Also state this fact. We started this fire burning in Southeast, advertently or inadvertently, and we know how it started, just like you said, but it was hijacked along the road, and today it is burning us. We must denounce that name we gave to these people, because that name encouraged them, emboldened them to consume more, and we'll be here shouting government provide security where you are on the other side giving them some kind of shares. And on the other side, that is hypocrisy.
The Polity will make a return tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Chisom Chinedu. Good morning.